Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting for October 2nd, 2025. And I'll start by doing roll call. Shelby Stephenson, I am here. Vice Chair Victoria Rizzo. Here. Rich Allen is on his way.
Here.
Yep. And Kelly Wessett.
Here.
Jordan Wittrin, I just got a note about him. Okay, Twyla Harrington.
Here.
Mary Howell. Here. Sherry Winters. Here. Chris Ellison. Here. Captain Stewart. Deputy Nick Borer.
Here.
Mike Weston. I just realized sometimes I don't call those, and I said I probably shouldn't be calling everybody, but anyhow. Okay, so let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we'll move to agenda item number 3, public comment on non-agenda items. Is there anybody online that wishes to speak? Please unmute, state the name. All right, seeing no one. How about well, we've just got Frank, our alternate. So, okay, I'll close public comment on non-agenda items. Moving on to item number 4, approval of the June 5th, 2025 meeting minutes. Have you guys had a chance to review the minutes? Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I had a chance to review it, that's all.
Oh, you have had a chance, okay.
Sherry, I reviewed. They look okay to me?
All right.
I got them.
You didn't get them? No. Oh, because you didn't probably get a packet because it didn't get mailed to you?
Honestly,
I didn't get mine either.
Okay.
she wasn't here in June.
Yes, okay.
Oh, you're right.
So if you watched it somewhere, we'd ask Paul.
Okay, I think she emailed them, or it's available online, but anyhow, I guess that.
Not an issue this time, but I'll know.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
It's Victoria. I move we approve the June 5th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Okay,
Sherry, a second.
okay, any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. All right,
Did I
motion
just say abstain?
Say abstain. Okay, abstain.
Hey, you didn't need to ask Paul if he found any corrections we needed to do ahead of time? No. Okay.
Okay. All righty, that passes. Thank you very much. Okay, on to number 5, review of monthly law enforcement report from September. Now, along with this, you guys, there's, I believe that next month, I've tentatively got an analyst. They were maybe going to come this month, but then they told me, no, it's not going to. So I didn't confirm it this afternoon, but hopefully we'll have somebody. But what I'd like to do is, they have asked, well, what sort of questions do you want to have answers? So to help them out, we want to provide them. So rather than me writing down any questions that we talk about tonight or ones you think about, if you can send them all to me, I will compile a list in a week or so, and I'll send it to him. I feel like, in case all of you guys can't get it emailed to me right away, I'll just keep compiling all the questions that you have so that we can give them a heads up, but that doesn't preclude you from asking more questions when they come. It's just that I think they want to understand. And I think we're all overwhelmed with the amount of data that we're looking at and what we should look at and what this means. And sometimes when numbers don't tie, it looks like the same category and yet it's a different number. I think we just want to understand why they're so different. So, anyhow, I just wanted to make sure that. So has anything stood out for you guys on the monthly law enforcement reports that we could ask Nick tonight, that anything? Go ahead, Twyla.
It's not really a standout, but a comment, a successful comment. So over the last month, on a Saturday afternoon, a lost, differently abled person showed up at my front door, and so I called the police because they didn't know where he belonged. And they showed up quickly, and it's on the report, so that's great.
Awesome. Okay, that's excellent. Cool.
Thank you. After our meeting last month, I just kind of went through and sort of confirmed with the website and with what we're print out. And it just looks like there's quite a number of things that on the website they're just not reporting at all. So like trespass of real property or violation of orders or warrants. None of those I found online, or at least their numbers online were 0 compared to what they have on the printed. And then as for some of the numbers that we have, like you said, they don't match up completely. I was hoping maybe that was because we were getting a printout and report maybe was updated after that online. Sometimes maybe that could happen, but I looked back at the several months and it still seems like the numbers are wonky. They also have online, when you look at it, the drop down has like different types of assault on there that we're not seeing on the report. So things like that are slightly different. So it's just what I noticed when I was going through it. That's also why our total numbers are really different on there, because things just aren't reported. Like, well, and it looks like disorderly, there's one on disorderly conduct. Driving under the influence, I think potentially doesn't get reported on there. But yeah.
So is there some reason, Nick, that maybe that isn't happening?
That I don't know how that data is captured.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know their definitions of, for that website, what their crime statistics are, you know what I mean? Because some of those things, they may define as different, and then this captures that. And so in that case, if we could define that, then we could just ask for a report of those things and then look at the web page. Save the trees.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
And I did find these numbers to be pretty helpful, at least to start, just to even start, because I know that now I need some definitions of what some of this stuff means.
Right.
You know, you can kind of do a little bit of everything in there, but I feel like once we get more of an idea of what the numbers mean, what the definitions are, then we can further into the research of the big packet and be like, oh, okay, is there an area? But it seems right now we just need a little bit more information on the numbers and that.
That's what I believe. I just can't wonder if there isn't a different data base or something. Go ahead, Mary.
I know that when it comes, are you talking about definitions as far as what the crimes mean, like trespass versus assault, other?
Yeah, some of that.
If you go on online and you hover, maybe click on the case itself or the incident itself, it will bring up like assault, and it'll bring up a little narrative of what assault other means. If you go to one that is assault aggravated, it'll bring up, or vandalism will bring up what that means in
Okay.
classification wise, if that's what you're talking about. I think also really, it's just daunting, this list, because it is, if you take out the first couple, it's about 567 calls, you know, versus our 85 for the printed, or 37 if you're looking online. So I mean, that's a big, but I understand why a lot of it is that way, because they get calls that they go out on things are in this log that aren't going to be written up, you know, whether it's like a civil standby, they might, you know, they don't write a report of something like that. So it's not gonna generate anything to be on our online or the printed. Also, like, I know that they get, like follow-up reports. I think sometimes they don't, because they already have a case number, doesn't mean, they're not gonna write another case number and generate another report for that. So that's included in this, but it's not gonna be included here. Does that make sense? And then you've got, and I probably could go on and on, but I'm sure Nick has probably a lot to add to this too, of things that they don't generate for whatever reason. But it does seem like maybe they're what I would like to see. And I don't know, Nick, if you could help or if I could contact somebody or we, I think it might be helpful to see from this list that we have, if we could have it broken down of like the welfare checks and how many.
That you would have to talk to Kevin Morelli about. He's the one that does all the data analysis, and he'd be able to break everything down for you. I don't know how any of that stuff works on his end.
Okay. Is that something we could do or?
Again, I would direct you to talk to him because I am unsure on that. I don't know how that works.
What was his name, Kevin?
Morelli?
Oh, okay, that's the one I think that has emailed me and was saying, what do you need?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he was, I think he's or he's sending somebody, he's not coming, he's sending somebody next month to help us understand, but he was wanting to know the questions ahead of time. What are you guys looking for? And I just said, we're just trying to struggle to wrap our head around all of these reports. It's a bunch of information, but sometimes there's inconsistencies, but I just think we're just struggling with trying to see what's important that we should be focusing on, because I don't really.
That's why I was wondering if we could get it this list, get the list, but get it broken down into like a page that has welfare checks and, 50 unwanteds, and an amount of how many that month occurred. I don't know, it would be helpful to kind of know, at least then you can see, wow, we've got, results, or we've got.
Well, so this top page doesn't, this is just, I always get confused, but this is when they call 911. We've got welfare checks and it tells us how many, 65 for this month of September. See that welfare check?
That's true, I guess.
And so what, but then, the significance of the welfare checks, I don't know, and does that, okay, is there welfare checks on this one?
And half of
This other
those, a
page?
report may be written and half of them not. Or so, it is the thing for various.
So out of this 65, you're wanting to know, like, how many reports were written from that welfare check? I mean, does that typically generate a welfare check? Does that generate typically a report, or does that typically?
I think it depends on if they actually make contact with somebody and,
Okay.
right, Nick?
A lot of it depends on if the person's being placed on a mental hold or if there's any unusual circumstances surrounding the case. But I mean, it's kind of 50-50 on whether there's a report written or not.
Okay.
I think the concern is if we have like thefts that reports aren't being written on, or, and some of those thefts are probably being reported and generated by them going online.
Okay, yep, we do have that, and that's a different
But,
page that's just those, but there, I think that at first there seemed to be a lot of online maybe reporting, and now there's not as much. And I just didn't know if people are finding that it wasn't helpful, or maybe there's people are just like, oh, I'm gonna call in, it's easier, or maybe there's less. Where's the page on online? There's online.
Well, I mean,
Oh, online reporting, yeah, see, there's just No, there's 3 vandalism and 2 larceny from vehicle and larceny other, for a total of 7 this month. This last month.
And the online aren't included in the other.
Right, the online aren't included because I guess it goes to a different database. But I get that reason, probably why, is because when you're filling it out, it's not an officer making the determination of what the category is, I guess. Unless you write a description and then somehow the program, I've never entered something. Has anybody ever entered something online? Well, so do you decide the category, what it is, or does you put in a description and it categorizes it for you?
It did have some definitions, and it's been like a year since I've done it. And then I put in a description, but they read them, and so they could, if it was wrong, reclassify it.
Okay, so they probably do. So, okay, so, but it's too bad it's not also in the totals, you know what I mean? Always have to look at that as a secondary. Then we probably want to know how many things. Of the 65 that were reported of this, 2 of them were from online. We'd probably just be curious about that, but. Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, this is Mary. I guess, you know, getting questions, I guess, like this would be, you know, good. So you accumulate and then have somebody come and we could ask and, right?
Yes, I think
what you're
that,
talking about.
yeah, that's exactly it, because I think we're questioning, and then, you know, Nick doesn't know all about what's going on there, it's just like Captain Stewart didn't know. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to know, and then try to ask somebody and check and tell us next month. So I think it'd be really good to get it from the source, someone who knows, but hopefully we can come up with, we can get those questions, so a lot of them answered next time, so we have a better understanding. So then potentially we could go through the months and months we have of law enforcement reports. And we could start to figure out how we want to filter it down to what's more manageable, what sorts of things we for sure feel like it's important that we see this, but perhaps we don't need to see that. I don't know. Even better if we could manage to do this online and bring up things that we could query and just have some basic thing that we looked at, and everybody knew once it was closed for the month, we could all just go on and look and then bring our questions that we noticed there. Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it would be great for that person that comes to do a walkthrough of this dashboard for us to make sure we didn't miss anything. And maybe another way that we could look at it is if we could best summarize what we want to see and propose that to them, then they could, since they're the data analyst person, let us know perhaps what would be the best, most efficient way of getting that. So maybe brainstorming some of those things, like what do we really
Want to see?
Sure, I know I said it before, so pardon the broken record, but I really would like to see a little bit more of like hot spots in an area, not like, I think back to our survey map. It's fine, but I don't want to see, just like this area is red and it's this whole area. I'd like to rather, it doesn't have to be the perfect address, but if there's a lot of a certain type of crime taking place in an area, like that stands out more to me visually, whatever, than, you know, you read and you go, oh, yeah, there was one up there like that, and there was, like, so if there ends up being something, a lot happening in certain areas, it seems like it's, then we know it.
a more specific heat map?
Yeah, and to the types of, like, crimes or, you know, what's taking place. So if there's lots of vandalism, and wow, we see, let's say at Columbia Park, a hotbed of vandalism going on. It might be something that we address in a different way, I don't know. But it's, you know, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I just feel like that would prove to be at least a little bit more. And you look before at 257th and stock of animals or something, and then we see, wait, there's no specific area that's like riddled with anything. It's one here and one there, and so anyway. Florida.
Missing on the service line, we had that fatal accident near Streamin and Troutdale Road. It's not on,
When was it?
on the 20th
Is that,
at 7:40.
I know where it is. Is that though outside of the boundary? Where's our map here?
And Troutdale.
It's where that curve is, right?
So it might not be
Right.
Troutdale.
I think it might be outside. It's on Troutdale Road, but I think it might be outside of the,
Yeah, right there,
Right
it's hard.
there, right
I
on
mean,
the-
it switches from Clackamas to Multnomah, a whole bunch on the way.
okay, yeah, that's,
That's a piece of unincorporated, I think. Or
it's
something.
outside the boundary.
Yeah, I just was like,
Okay, that's what we don't see.
That's kind of the issue. The other issue with the hotspot map is when we were talking to, maybe it was Nick last month, the calls, he was saying something about like, it depends on where they tagged the location, whether it was where they had the incident or where the incident occurred too, so there's
That's-
that.
yeah, because some of this stuff, it's just people pull up here and make the report. And then it gets tagged like, but I do believe that they have to have information on deeper in the information to know the location. And if there's a way we draw upon that to show, I don't know. And maybe not everything shows, but to me, that would be at least a little bit more effective than sometimes pages and pages of reading. Rich?
So, to that point, sometimes you will capture a block instead of a particular house
Yeah.
for privacy concerns.
Sure.
And to your point, we've seen it over time where there'll be flare-ups and types of crime, not only in Troutdale, but in our surrounding cities. And then they capture the person and those drop down and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But the heat map is very nice because then you start seeing if you have a problem. And it does happen from time to
yeah.
time. We have seen what you're talking about. It kind of comes and goes.
I do have a question for Nick. So when we're looking at the reported crime, all offenses, it does look like we've had a significant uptick in property crime from 33.3%. So I'm just wondering your assessment on this page, the one with the,
That could be anything from thefts, car break-ins, burglaries, vandalisms.
have you noticed any trends or anything?
I haven't really noticed anything when I've been there. At least nothing that stands out. A lot of those calls are cold calls, and we get them, reported first thing in the morning when someone wakes up and sees, hey, my car's been broken into. And then we just go take the report and they file it with their insurance company. As far as that goes, I haven't noticed any trends or anything like that. It's just people walk through the neighborhoods and they decide to smash windows out and break into cars. It comes and goes in phases.
Thank you.
Mary?
I have another question for you, Nick. If neighbors are seeing other neighbors in what looks like drug activity on a regular basis, what can we do? What can they do?
Well, the biggest thing they need to do is report it to us. A lot of these things are not reported, and the house will become a bigger problem. And just like the recent house that I wrote a search warrant on that was, trafficking stolen vehicles, they had drug activity going on. Once we figured out the house was a problem house and we started talking to the neighbors, a lot of them said, well, I didn't want to call you guys and report it because I didn't want to waste your time. So have they been reporting it to us? It'd be on our radar. We would know it's there, and then we could start working on it. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, they just tell us all the time that I didn't want to waste your time and I didn't want to call it in.
Okay. So you would encourage people to then call non-emergency and report that, or is there specific somebody who could handle that?
They would call it in a non-emergency. I had one recently that they were saying that the house was a problem drug house. She reported it to me directly through our email system, and I sat up there for multiple days, did not observe any kind of suspicious activity. I got one traffic stop that left there where the woman had a trace amount of methamphetamine on her and some burnt pipes in her car, and that was the only stop that I had from that house. And then after I had stopped that vehicle, I haven't seen anything in there since, and I haven't had anything else reported to me.
Would it matter if we know for a fact that officers have been at these houses multiple times?
What do you mean? What do you mean as far as would it matter?
I mean, would it matter if we had to go through 911 or non-emergency, or if we'd be able to just bypass that and contact somebody else?
Well, the biggest thing to do is for people to call 911 or non-emergency when these things are going on. That way it's tracked and documented, because a lot of times people do not call either of those, and they just flag us down and tell us, hey, this is a problem house over here. And we're like, okay, well, have you reported it? And they're like, well, no, because I don't want to call you guys. So the more calls that are generated on a location, we can see that there's a problem at a location and we can start working on it that way.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna say that if it's self-initiated, like, so someone flags you down, don't you indicate that you went to this address because of a report from a concerned citizen?
It all depends on what's going on. A lot of times you'll put yourself out on, like, I'm at the 1900 block of Southeast Beaver Creek Lane, even though it's not the address of that house. So it's not really tracked when you're doing that. When we do have a problem house that we know that is a problem house, we will link it to the address directly.
Any other thoughts or questions?
I have a question for Nick unrelated to this stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't have access to that picture, do you? Hey, Nick, here's my question. Has there been a call for Sherrard Point and a car being down off the trail?
Sherrard Point?
It's up there at the top of Larch Mountain.
I don't know. I don't work out there, so I don't really pay attention to what's going on out there unless it's something significant.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, if I tell you this, you can tell me if I should have called it in or not.
Okay.
We were hiking up there and probably, I don't know, 50 yards down the trail, heading up to like the lookout part. Off the kind of steep side down a ways, there is a car. And I don't know if it rolled or not. And like, it looks like the hood of the car is over a ways, probably another, I don't know, 10 yards away from it. And so we looked at it, but we didn't call it in. There's no telephone service hardly up there anyway. But then by the time I got down, I just figured, I don't want to waste anyone's time.
If there's a vehicle down there, I mean, it's not going to hurt to call it in. Chances are it's probably somebody taking I mean, I don't know for sure, but my guess would be the car's probably stolen. And they took it out there for a joyride and crashed it down the hill and they walked away from it.
Okay.
I just think with the snow coming, you'll want to get it out there before we have snow, right? I mean, I don't mean it's imminent, but
Yeah.
it's high elevation, so yeah. Okay, how about anybody else? Do you have any questions for Nick about even the law enforcement? And certainly, if you guys want to talk about any particular questions you might, but you can also take your time and formulate them.
So my question is that heat map thing.
Okay. But we just want to try to give them as much heads up about the things that, I think a lot of it is definitions too, and just understanding the source of the data.
Yeah.
But Twyla brings up a very good point. What we should also approach it of, what do we want to see? I think I can't tell you because I don't know what I want. I don't know what it is, but if anybody has a definite idea, I'd love to hear it because we can.
That's what I want to see.
The heat map. Okay, yeah, just the heat map of all crimes, everything, where stuff's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like it color coded. So it could be, if, I mean, I can't say to all of them, but let's just say if it's like there's vandalism going on, like it's coded a certain thing and it shows up. And maybe it doesn't all show up on the same map. Maybe it does all show up on the same map. I don't know. But obviously, like a look-see at Troutdale and saw a bunch of red here that was from crashes or, I'm not sure exactly. Just, related to different things that they'd have colors and you'd see it. That is a bigger ticket item in that area or something.
So you think things like even including, I'm just looking at some of the categories on this first one.
Like welfare checks or something.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
or really more, are you interested in more like assaults and burglaries and stolen vehicles and theft?
Those things for sure.
Some of those things, maybe not necessarily,
Maybe not the gun disposal unit and stuff, maybe I don't need to know that.
right, or area checks, well, I don't know, fair checks.
Well, I think the reason why, for me, knowing where some of those things are happening is part of like understanding where our law enforcement is having to go, where they're spending their time. Like if we like to see them in our neighborhoods, and then say, but we don't really want to see them in our neighborhoods because that's where the crime's taking place.
Right, yes.
So.
Kelly?
Yeah, I was just thinking it'd be great to see, like, if there's any issues with any of our public parks, like something that could be, fixed with maybe like an extra light in the park. But like stuff like community areas, see if there's issues there. That would be great to see. But then I'd also like to see maybe any summer data on issues we had with maybe kids in the area, so like high school students, if there was, or like college members, if there was a lot of calls for them to see maybe if there's like a community center that we need to set up, some sort of support there. So see if there's conflict with our students over the summer, maybe, something like that. See if we can help with that. Just info like that, I feel like would be more helpful, because I don't know what to do about car theft, other than a light. Maybe in a parking lot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Club, right?
I think the city of Troutdale wants to give every member a club, right?
No, yes. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions? Okay. All right, well, send in your things that you need, with questions for the analyst to me, and I'll compile a list and send it off to them. We will see them next month. But I'll open up the public if they have any comments about the law enforcement reports.
Shelby, Paul Wilcox.
Hey, go ahead.
I went through the entire month of incidents, and there was something that caught my attention in the 800 block of Halsey, which would be on the side of Mountain Meadows apartment complex. There were a whole lot of abandoned vehicle reports. I don't have an exact account, but it seemed like there were as many on that one block as the rest of the entire city combined. And most, if not all, were self-initiated. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on there, because that's in our neighborhood. So that could shine some light on that maybe.
Paul, that was me that initiated that. There was several vehicles there that had registrations that had expired for 2 to 4. I think one was even 5 years old. And I went in there and tagged the vehicles, and I can't remember exactly. 1 or 2 of them ended up getting towed after I put a 96-hour notice on them. The other ones were removed from the roadway, and they parked them in their driveways.
Okay, because I have seen that in the past where there's cars have actually been stripped while they sat there.
Yeah, if they sit there long enough and they're not being moved, they tend to become a target for people to burgle or to break into them and strip them out. So when we find a large portion of vehicles that have expired registrations, we go in there and we try to tag them and get them removed off the roadway to prevent that from happening. Because if you have a vehicle that ends up getting targeted or multiple vehicles getting targeted, it just accumulates more problems in the area.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
So all of those calls that you see on there, those were actually probably every single one of those was generated by me last month.
Thank you. Excellent. I like it. I like it. Okay, anybody else have? Oh, go ahead, Frank.
Nick, this is Frank Stevens, Troutdale, Oregon. Hey, I was wondering how we track the HOPE team, and I was looking at the list for unwanted camping, unwanted person, and then suspicious and sub. So under unwanted person, I had 53 hits when I pulled up that verbiage, which if you look at the front page, it's not even listed. It would be under other. And then if you had that with the subcategory for suspicious sub, that's 67 hits. So where's the overlap for our homeless or houseless community response?
If you're trying to track down information on the HOPE team, you're going to have Kevin Morelli pull the stats for
Yeah.
5 Henry 99 and 5 Henry 13.
Say that again, please.
5 Henry 99, which is Sergeant Gerkman,
Okay.
and 5 Henry 13, which is going to be Deputy Monda.
Yeah, I have Gerkman's contact info, so I'm good on that front. So I
Other
guess,
than that, if they're not specifically looked at by the unit number, it's just going to be compiled into one category.
okay, so I guess the question I'm asking is, if I add these up, that creates a pretty hefty number, but we're not seeing that on the front page.
I wouldn't be able to answer that because I don't know how Kevin Morelli provides that information on his data.
Because both of those would fall under the 333. I'm trying to remember the exact number.
That's what it says.
Under other. But if you break them out in the other category, they're more than a lot of the other categories, which isn't even being recognized.
Yeah, again, that's something you're going to have to ask Kevin Morelli about. I'm not sure how that data is captured regarding that.
I'll send an email to Brian Gerkman about how he tracks his responses in Troutdale. I'd be interested to know if they match up with the numbers.
Okay.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate all you do.
Okay. Anybody else have any? No in the public, so. Go ahead, Marla.
One more thought. I think the other, I'm putting my questions into a Word document that I'll send to you, but the other thought that we may want to know more about too is the reporting programs they use, like is it Tableau, that sort of thing. Because I was, if we could export some of this to Excel or some other program, we probably could create our own heat map. I'm sure they have the ability to make theirs a little bit more precise and hopefully do it for us, but I'm talking with AI right now about trying to do one based upon the packet we have today. It looks like it's doable.
Oh, this is Sherry, if you don't mind, can I just say something? I think that even what Frank brought up, well, the thing about it is, if you look at it, the other calls are 333. The total calls for the whole month on everything is, 688. So about half are not broken out into stuff. the other half has been broken out. And obviously, this has been doing it before my time. This is the way I think this picture then came in. There must have been a reason at some point those things were being recognized up above the other category. We just don't know why.
Good question though to ask. Why else that's so many things are lumped into that other, that's so much stuff. Okay, anybody else have anything else to say? All righty. Well, I'd love to get all your questions, so we can send something on to Kevin, help us out next month. All right, let's see, we'll move on to agenda item number 6. Okay, so last month, our focus I sent, we decided, remember each month we get to, based on whatever we've seen, observed, if we've got anything that we'd like the community resource deputy to focus on, that's what we do. So I know last month we came up with, we were all concerned about the historic Columbia River Highway, that intersection. Running stuff, whether that should be, I know that it's talked about, I think Nick indicated we need a light there, but in the meantime, just that was our concerned area. So I don't know, Nick, do you have anything to say on that subject? Did you notice anything? Was it better this month? Was it worse? Did you, anything that?
So I sat down there a few different times during last month, and it's funny because when there's a patrol car sitting down there, everybody seems to obey the traffic device. And then when I leave, people complain about people running the stop sign or almost hitting each other. But every time I sit down there, I never observe any of that.
Okay.
And it's kind of a hard spot to sit at because there's really not a lot of areas to park at and monitor it. So there's only about maybe 2 spots that I could sit there, but when I'm sitting there, I'm just in the plain open sight and everybody can see me there. So I think that's why everybody follows the instructions on it.
All right, well, thank you. So, does anybody have ideas of what we should be focusing on? Yes, since we're still grappling with this report.
I will say though that intersection does need to be changed. There's no doubt about it. But when there's a marked patrol vehicle there, people seem to not do the things that are being reported when we're not there.
Any input for what we should focus on this next month?
Not really, but I do like the heat map idea. Yep. Look at that.
Coded with the different kinds of things.
Because you can see patterns popping out when you go through.
I did, it's hard to see, but
Oh, can you share it?
let me see if I can share. I can't figure out how to make it bigger.
While you share it, I wondered, Nick, has there been any reports of continued motorcycle racing on Stark? Maybe say between 223rd and 257th, or on Cherry Park in front of the school?
I actually had somebody email me about that, and I have not personally observed that. They're saying it's happening throughout all hours of the day, and when I've been up there, I have not seen it, I have not heard it, but then I've only had one person that has brought this up to us.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's all the time. I would say I can hear stuff and I can't always hear, like, oh, was that 257th or was that up on Stark? Or sometimes I feel like, oh, I can tell it's in front of the school. But they're not there long enough. So it could be happening for like 10 minutes and then it's gone.
Around a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't observed it personally. I've had it reported to me, but I have not seen it.
Okay.
Oh, Twyla, let's see.
So I think, because I just uploaded this whole packet, but I think if we could put it into an Excel spreadsheet with, you know, how on like this here, we have the block number. I think we could make it more precise. It's pulling like all kinds of different data that is making it a little less precise, but
Okay.
This looks like it's all stuff, and then you're seeing the heat map for everything.
right. And we could also assign like colors though to each it, but this is as
Okay.
bright as I could
Yeah, no,
make it in a couple minutes, but yeah, so I think it's possible if we can't get it through this to easily.
Then we could look at each month, put in.
Yeah, and then decide though, really, I think it'll be important to figure out which categories, because there's so many, so that we can figure out that core focus.
What might trigger it though, too, is when you look at the reports, when something is kind of high, it's like, oh, let's put up these ones and look.
Well, I was just thinking too, if you had more of like a heat map with property crimes or a heat map with
All the different categories.
person crimes or, yeah, and then within each one of those, there might, maybe could be some color coding to show. I mean, there might be a reason to have it all in one, I don't know. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Well, I think as with each of us, maybe there's different things we tend to look at or focus on. And that might actually be to our benefit because each of us might be kind of looking at it in a different aspect and noticing, oh, it's not really going to do anything this month. Oh my goodness, have you guys noticed this? So, I mean, I don't know, just interesting. Okay, well, go ahead, Rich.
I think it was already mentioned, the stuff that gets reported here. Would it be possible to find out the location of the report? Do we know that? So instead of where it's being reported, like a lot of stuff looks like it's right here.
Yeah.
But that's just because this is where they're taking the information. If you would. So
Perhaps we can ask
we're
when they come.
losing where it's actually happening at.
Right,
And
yes.
so that makes that heat map less effective.
Right, yes, exactly. Yeah.
The other thing too is we're probably capturing people outside. I don't know if they'd, right, like the lady who walked in today who lives out by Sandy but came here to report a burglary, you know, like.
So we're capturing that data too?
Well, if it's reported here.
And oh, yeah, see, that's,
Well, no, maybe we aren't because she puts, well, yes, it is, it's reported. If she's talking to an officer here, it's reported here.
It might not be.
No, it's not.
They might make it just an outside report and forward that information, and it might not actually get inputted into, I don't know. It
be
might be, or it
interesting,
might not be,
yeah.
I don't know for sure, but I'm just,
That
yeah,
would
it's a
really
good
skew
question for the,
That's a very good question
Very
to
good.
ask. It's a very-
yeah, very good.
On the Word
question
document.
to figure it out.
We asked it last time maybe, but when do these reports come out? Is it consistently a similar time or?
Yeah, we do a whole month, and so they get them, they try to get them to us as soon as possible. And obviously, like this went through the 30th, which was just.
So it does change. It's not like we should look at maybe adjusting our meeting times. 'Cause today was just like, we got it today.
Yes, we got it
So
today.
I don't know if maybe giving a little bit more time to play with the data too. But if it's different every month. then-
We could totally ask about, that was brought up last month. Somebody said that last month.
I wondered, I was thinking,
Because I know we talked about it.
pushing this envelope, can we get the data yet, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that, I mean, I guess we could always, this would not, we could always switch it and get the reports. You know, like from the last time we reported until,
I don't like having
potentially.
old data though. So myself, it's like, I'd rather have like September data for our October meeting.
not be a month.
Just that sometimes this first week, it's like, it's it's always hard to get the information and then,
Which is a lot of times what Sarah, when she puts us on, she knows the it's tight turnaround, so I think she looks on the calendar if we have the option. I think the city doesn't always have Thursday meetings. But they do, there are some committees that do meet occasionally on a Thursday. Town Center's one of them. I don't know what other ones, but, so I don't know if it's always an option, but it was last month, and so I think it's, you're right. I think whenever it does come with such a, within the first few days, if we are able to, as a committee, I don't want to make it where people can't come. We all kind of count on it being the first Thursday. But, and we'll try to put it out a week, which we have done on occasion. But as I recall last month, we're going to have better turnout tonight than we would next Thursday because people had conflicts. So anyway, yeah, I think, I love that it's so current, but it is really hard when we get no time to really use it very much. I mean, I had a few hours, an hour this afternoon, I looked at it and that was it.
I mean, obviously, if we go back to our earlier days, I mean, the packet, what was the packet, like maybe 14 pages or 16 pages long or something? It wasn't very big. You could go through it even though it was a little bit tight, but it didn't have all the information. So maybe once we have this figured out in a more, like for myself, it doesn't mean that these logs wouldn't be interesting to see, but maybe if a chunk of the information was provided in the form of electronically that you could look at, that it could be at your fingertips if you wanted to be. We have less than a little printouts, that we could have hard copies that are, I don't know. Because I like the idea of having some hard copy, make a comparison from month even looking at it, so.
Yeah, even though it shows up on our online agenda, this packet's in there. You notice I'm still looking through the papers because it's harder for me to cross-reference.
Me too.
On the phone than it is for me to cross-reference doing this kind of thing.
And I like to make a note sometimes, something that's causing some questions in my mind, so. And maybe you can do that electronically, but that's harder for me.
Multiple windows.
I would agree.
6 screens I'm looking at.
Okay, well, do we have any idea? I mean, I want to be able to use our, if there's any focus, but I don't have anything. Does anybody else have a focus for this next month? I didn't figure out anything in here that I'm like, oh, wow, we need to focus on that.
I think you were talking about targeting, taking a look at how the parks are doing.
Yeah. Those. And
See if
Glen
there's
Auto
something
just
we
started
can do.
their new parking, right? Pay to park. Did that just start?
July.
Started in
That was July.
Started in July, and it's just on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Looking and seeing if there's issues there would be great.
Okay.
Or what?
If we have any issues at the parks, other communities.
So you mean more of gathering information? When she's talking about right now is where are we gonna put Nick for some concentrated?
That's
Oh.
what I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You go to the parks.
Play some disc golf, what the heck?
Well, if we knew the location of the problem instead of the location of where it's reported, then
Yes.
something in parks might show up.
That's right.
Can he get that information?
And that, Frank and Victoria and I sit on the Parks Committee, we kind of know about some of the stuff anyway.
Okay.
You hear it.
Now, are there problems in the parks?
Oh, just in the summertime, Columbia Park suffers from vandalism. Or maybe in the late spring.
Columbia Park's all year.
Yeah, I was gonna
The high
say,
school is there. Glen Auto's the one that, in the summer,
Those issues.
yeah, drinking, lots of dogs. What else? Sometimes camping.
So Nick, Do you find that you guys have a lot of calls to Glen Auto Park?
That's summer, though.
Summer?
You're muted if you're talking.
We don't hear you, Nick, in case you are talking.
Maybe he didn't hear you ask.
Okay, well, Nick, I was asking, do we see, or did you see this last summer, more issues and problems at Glen Auto Park?
That's the step away.
He's on a call.
Okay, well, all right, that's just, I just was wondering the parks. Okay, well,
But they had that, security there, so,
They pay for some enforcement down there.
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
The last 2 summers,
city
I
does.
think.
they pay for lifeguards, but you mean there is
No,
some
there's-
security work
there
in
is
the
sometimes,
parking lot?
yeah.
Ah,
And he was the one that checks on if they pay for parking too.
oh, okay, okay.
And I think, the captain, if I remember right, said the previous year, some of it was doing some more patrols down in that area before we had the pay parking and stuff. If the weather wasn't very good, that's when he would maybe pop up to like Columbia Park or something.
Okay, that's right, I do remember some conversation. Well, all right. So, I guess, I'll just say that our focus is maybe to, into the parks thing, but I guess we just see if there's any issues.
What a ridiculous question. Oh, yeah, that's right, Nick isn't on right now. I was just gonna say, I wonder if he thinks that there's an area also of concern.
Just ask, are you happen to be there, Nick? All right, well, maybe we'll circle back here with that idea.
Paul can hear us, right?
Yes, Paul can hear us, I think. Paul, can you hear us? Yeah. Okay. So Nick must have just stepped away for a moment, but, okay, so let's go on to item number 7, update. Oh, wait a second, let me back up here for 6. I'll open it to public comment. Anybody online or want to comment on the Community Resource Deputy Workforce Focus? Have any suggestions? I'm gathering Paul doesn't, so, okay. Just in case, didn't want to, if you had any ideas, since we're not very good. Okay, number 7, update from the Public Safety Work Group. So can you guys tell us where we're at on what's going on with police and fire?
You want to do it?
I don't know, you did a great job last night.
So right now, it's the 4 cities, and we're forming a task force. And so what it looks like is that we're going to have to renew the contract for 3 more years with Gresham Fire. And eventually have it put on the ballot for us to form a fire district, hopefully with Gresham, Fairview, Wood Village, and us. And the public's gonna have to have a lot of education because it is going to increase our taxes quite a bit. It'll take it out of the general fund. So if the money's taken out of the general fund for fire, it's gonna go to the fire district. We may have enough to start our own police force too. That is the goal. But getting 4 cities together to approve the fire district when it is, now I don't know if it's gonna raise Gresham taxes, because they just had that big levy.
It would, if they're gonna be in a fire district, they're gonna now pay.
Yeah, they're gonna pay different.
Outside of, because that's what
Yeah.
the district is,
But
outside
I
of.
mean, then that levy will be gone, and then they'll have to pay more property taxes. but I don't know if it's gonna outweigh it for them. But if we don't do this, then we're gonna be in a lot of trouble because we just don't have the money coming in to pay for all these increases for fire and police. I mean,
Just means they'll have to cut other things in the budget as
we
well.
have to cut a lot.
A lot of the budget just has to go down to police and fire.
And other people, they're gonna have to weigh this. And you did good last night on the practice.
The Praxis, so there's a consultant group that the cities are working with, Praxis, and so they did a preliminary survey, just if tonight, if we had the election, where would the voters be? And I believe it was in of around 500 or so, and so for yes, let's go with the levy, was in the 30% range. No was in the 30% range, and undecided. So it's really shows that there's opportunity, right, to educate about what this means and inform people. But there's a lot of work to do. I think some people probably have read about it in the Champion and those things, but I think there's a lot of education that will have to happen in the next couple of years. I was really hoping it would have been I just feel like we're gaining momentum with this, but clearly after seeing that data, I don't think we're ready to move forward, so we probably need that time.
You have any?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. So it's going to be a counselor and the mayor from each city, the administrator from each city, some representation from the fire union, Russian fire union.
Why do they have the union in it?
Well, they had input, and I think.
And haven't they been a big supporter of having a district
Yeah.
historically?
Well, recently, yeah.
Yeah.
And then 10 would be in that as well. It's about 15 people, but they're supposed to bring it back to council and to the working group and disseminate the information. They don't actually make the decision. They're just trying to work out, and we come up with some kind of agreement and bring that back to our various cities.
About a piece of the pie.
What are we missing? Anything
Anybody
else?
have any questions for that?
I would make a comment, but it would be probably uncalled for, so maybe I'll just keep it to myself.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, guys. More stuff coming on it. Okay, does anybody on the public online have any questions for the Public Safety Work Group on their update? Seeing none? All right, let's move on. Okay, so let's see, I'm gonna circle back to number 6 to see if Nick. So Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I just had a question, during this last summer, did you find that there was quite a few calls or times you needed to stop by Glen Otto Park, or was that just about the same this year as a typical year?
I don't recall us getting any calls down there at all, really, for the most part.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. Okay, that's good.
Are there any locations that you seem to find there are issues?
As far as like the parks go,
Just as far as in general, any locations that the community goes to that you seem to find is a problem?
the only place that generates a bunch of calls is like along the Sandy River down by Lewis and Clark Park, which is not in Troutdale, but that's usually people drinking at the beach and fighting down there.
Yes.
Hey, Nick, is there any big issues behind the outlet stores, kind of almost along the freeway?
No, not really. The security down there usually moves people along before they call us, so generally they resolve it before they call law enforcement.
Okay.
Although we did have some issues down there last night because we did the 1,000 acres camping sweep down there yesterday and removed all of the campers down there. And about 10 of them showed up behind the outlet mall and they tried setting up tents back there and we removed them right away.
So does that mean that 1,000 acres is going to be clean for a while, you think? Or is it just going to be a couple of days and they're back in?
From what I understand, I'm not sure how long the location's going to be closed for. Yesterday, we closed the entire location down. We went in with, I think there was about 20 state police officers that went in with us, and we made sure everybody was out of their camps, which the majority of them had left at that point. And then Rapid came in and they started cleaning up all the debris that was left behind. And from what I understand is the state, I think, is paying for I think it's a 24-hour security contract down there. And they're going to keep that area closed at least through next year. And Rapid's going to continue to clean up all the debris that's in there through November.
Okay.
Wow.
And do you know how many they removed?
Yesterday we removed maybe 10 or less. Prior to that, there was estimated to be about 50 people that were in there. And then yesterday when we went in, there was maybe 10 that were left.
Okay.
Where the other ones went, I don't know. But we've been proactively trying to patrol the area in the surrounding areas to try to prevent any camps from popping up.
Okay, so that's on the east side of the river. And do you guys do any sweeps down on the west side, like behind the FedEx?
If we find them down there, we will. I've been down there almost every single day for the past 3 to 4 weeks, and I have not located a single, well, I take that back. I located one abandoned camp down there that was just a bunch of trash that was left behind, and I actually picked it all up and threw it in our side-by-side, and I removed it.
Okay.
That was down along the mouth of the Sandy River, entering the Columbia River.
Okay.
I did notice more people filtering through town. The only ones that, other people notice that too.
Yeah, if you would have noticed that, it probably would have been yesterday because we were pushing them out of the area.
I noticed more of them walking around or riding their bike with a trailer. Saw more of that yesterday.
Yeah, it's more noticeable at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah, there was a handful of them around yesterday, probably around 2 to 3 p.m. And then they kind of left after that. As far as them coming back, I don't know if they'll come back. I anticipate some will try to come back. But as of yesterday, there was maybe 10 or less that were still hanging out in the area.
And we don't have any idea where they went?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're gonna show up somewhere else. Probably.
Was the Hope team in there, do you know, beforehand?
The whole team doesn't work out there.
They were in there on and off throughout the week. And then the state police went in there and started doing their sweep.
Okay.
So that's good. I thought we had heard that the Hope team doesn't work out there in 1,000 acres, but not officially, but maybe they did in this today because it was a sweep, so. I don't know. At least I listened to one of the old meetings and I was like, oh, I forgot that the Hope team doesn't work out there in 1,000
I
acres.
don't think it's their
Because it's
territory,
Division of
but-
State Lands, that's why it's different.
Yeah, that's true. They have had some engagements, but it's not their area.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so let's see. So next month's agenda, well, hopefully we're gonna have the analysts here to help us. You guys are gonna send me your questions. And obviously, hopefully we'll have a couple months worth of, let's see, July end.
Is there any way we can get caught up on our minutes?
Sarah is, I don't know if she's still covering somebody who was out in municipal court, so she had double duty, so she's been trying to get caught up, so. I know I'll ask her again, but I know she knows she wants to get caught up. So we'll have review of monthly law enforcement reports. We will have again a focus, whatever our focus is, we're gonna talk about that. I think we'll get a public safety work group update again. So what's happening on that, maybe? So, besides that, anything else I should be having on the agenda next month? Okay. Any public comment on that?
Sorry, just a quick question before we move on.
Go ahead.
With everything that's going on in Portland right now, we are very close to them. Is there anything we need to discuss to protect our public safety, the military in town? Is that anything that we need to consider at this point? It's not Troutdale, but it's close, so I don't know.
Does anybody have anything on that?
I suppose the question is, if they did run into trouble, would our Troutdale contracted service help them? Right? That'd be the question. So, there's always that question whether local law enforcement would help the federal or national guard when they're in trouble. Would that help? Would they help or would they not? Or Troutdale were contracted to Monoma County Sheriff, which is different when with Troutdale. So would Monoma County Sheriff respond in such an incident, or would they follow whatever rules Monoma County has? Maybe not. I don't know. I guess that's a Nick question.
Nick, do you know what's the policy of Multnomah County Sheriff's Office? Do they work with ICE or with the feds or not?
Or even the National Guard or
The National Guard or?
anybody who's in trouble, right? Would we respond?
If anybody's in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, you might respond to a resident, but would you respond to a National Guard in need or some outside agency? That's a whole alphabet of them, right? If they were being
Mutual aid, kind of
Yeah.
mutual aid?
Yeah, if they were being attacked within city limits, would our contracted help them? Or does Monoma County have different rules that they follow?
I guess at this point, there's a ton of what ifs, but I didn't know if that's something that we just needed to put on an agenda just to touch base with. I mean, there's nothing happening right now, but it's something to keep an eye on, I think.
We can't. That's a Multnomah County decision, that's not our decision.
Oh, no, not decision for anything, just like if there's any public safety concerns for the city of Troutdale. I don't know, just touching base on it and seeing if there's something we need to talk about. I mean, the military coming in is kind of a big deal, so.
I don't envision them out here at all.
Is there any federal?
And if we were in trouble, we have Multnomah County Sheriff.
But would
I
there
think
be
at
any
best it would
reason?
just be traveling through, right?
I was gonna say, do we have any, not in the city limits
Federal
of
buildings?
Troutdale that I'm aware of, we don't have any facilities that would require, I think. But I could be unaware. Does anybody know?
Pretty sure we don't.
I don't think so.
There's no reason for them to be out here protesting. I mean, unless it's about something else.
And if you had
But nothing
if you had some kind of conflict, it'd only be traveling through. This would not be the target location.
Right. Okay. So, well, if we think that something comes up, we can add that to the agenda, but at this point, I'm thinking there's no All right, let's see. Confirm next. Everybody check your calendars. It's November 6th. That gives a few days to look at these reports.
I wrote it in.
So does that work for everybody? November 6th? 6:30? I think I already put it down. Actually, I hope it works because I think that's when I told him the date.
Works for me.
Works for me. Works for everybody? Good. Looking good? Looking good for you, Twyla? All right, that is our date for our next meeting, November 6th, 6:30 p.m. Okay, let's do committee member comments. So let's start on the right side of the room tonight. Let's go with you, Twyla.
Nice meeting, good discussion. Thank you, Nick, for all your wisdom. That's it.
Really?
It's great to finally be in the room with you guys and not online. I'll try to make more of a point to come in. I have a 5-year-old, so sometimes bedtime is hard to miss, but
Yes.
good to be here.
Remember. So on the working group for public safety, I probably should have mentioned that, well, you've got this other group of people working on, we figure something out that works for the 4 cities. The working group will continue work on the law enforcement side. So we're not going to do one and then start the other. It'd be too late. So they'll be going simultaneously.
There was something I was gonna make. Come back to me. Can you go to Victoria maybe first, or Marion?
Okay.
Good meeting, and it was nice meeting you, and hello. To you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to be back.
Victoria.
What happened with Jordan? Richmond?
I don't know. I just got, my husband said something. There's a note here from Sarah, and I haven't even had time to read it today, but it's just that he wasn't going to make the meeting tonight, as my husband told me as I was walking out the door. George's not going to be at your meeting tonight.
Because he hasn't made a few, I wondered if he didn't want to do it anymore.
You know what? I'll have to read this. I have no idea. Shelby received this email this afternoon.
I know, I think he got a new job in the last year, so it might have changed his
I
hours.
can't read this fast, but I'll read this.
I thought you said in the last.
Okay, but well, I tried to follow up with him, so he didn't respond to me, but he did respond to me.
Or two. And you might want to remind Chris Ellison of Reynolds, and I think they forget it.
I was gonna say, I believe he's on the email list that goes out from Sarah, but I should follow up with him. I'll write a note to follow up. Okay, so anyhow, all right, excellent. But you have any other comments?
No, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Paul, for being here.
Okay, well, again, thank you guys all. Hopefully we can rein in this giant book. Hopefully we can get to where we feel like we've got something we're looking at and we feel like we're being effective, because I feel like we've spinning our wheels, but hopefully we'll get some answers next month. I really am excited that I got response and they're sounding like they all can answer a question, so that will be helpful. But don't forget to send me your questions. I want to give them as much notice for as many questions as possible. And then, let's see, thank you, Nick, for being here. I do appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're back with us. We loved your expertise for that police background. That's just invaluable to our group. Glad to see you in person. Wonderful. And so wonderful. Thanks for being here, our alternate Frank. And so anyhow, thanks very much. Go ahead.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Are we going to be getting back our captain?
No, at all.
Okay,
It's-
Nick,
it's-
it's fallen all on you.
It's
Okay.
fallen all on Nick. Yes, that's what I
We're
understand.
sorry.
I am here to try to answer the questions as best as I can.
Appreciate you,
I
yeah.
really do appreciate that you're here. Thank you. As we're just sifting through this drawing, but hopefully we're going to be getting smarter and be better at asking some other things. things, so.
Well, the nice thing is Nick's been involved in Troutdale for a long time now.
So that's really beneficial for us,
Yeah.
yes, very
I
helpful.
I actually started here when I started my career, and that was in 2013, 12, 13.
Was it that far out? Wasn't back
Ye-
in,
Yeah, I think it was. I think I got sworn in 2012 in November.
oh, okay. That sounds about
Excellent,
right.
that's great. We love that history. That's wonderful. It's very good. It's invaluable to our city.
I was on council when we swore him in.
Oh, wonderful.
That was the night I proposed to my wife too.
Oh, was it?
Oh, my goodness. That's a big momentous day in your life. That's right. Wow, cool.
Excellent catch.
Yes, very happy that you're here with us, so. Okay, so again, thank you all for being here. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Victoria, I move we adjourn.
All right? Second? There's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstains? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.